All right. 3, 2, 1.
Never works.
Yeah, that was fine. Whatever. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the One Take Podcast episode. Is it 30?
Yeah.
I ask this every time. Welcome to episode 30. Huge episode. We are doing a new movie. Shout out to our overlords, our streaming overlords. New content, folks. We are joined by the one and only Joey Mulinaro.
Boy.
Shout out.
Everybody. Don't mean to be that guy. Molinaro.
Mulinaro.
Molinaro.
It's
Damn.
a common mispronunciation, but, I'm trying to spread the word.
You know what? You're kicked off the podcast. I'm sorry.
Now we're done.
Canceled already. We're done.
Mulinaro.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you're good, man. Yeah. Thanks,
Joey, not a problem. Joey actually bringing some clout to this podcast of a few hundred followers. Joey joins us from Barstool Sports. Joey, how you doing, man?
I'm great. It's, in Indy at least, it's starting to open back up a little bit. Still wearing masks, still being smart and all that stuff, but we don't have to be cooped up into our apartment, all hours of every day anymore. So that's pretty nice.
Well, all of us are in Texas. Texas and Louisiana. So
I'm back in Texas because I decided to make my life horrible. I don't know.
So it was open, but now you guys are reverting back. Right?
Yeah, we're regressing.
We went too hard. It was not. We went one way.
Wait, why are you back in Texas? You have a job, school and stuff.
Yes, but it's all remote right now. And after my breakup with Hot Dad, I was like, I just can't be in this state anymore.
God.
Man, fuck that guy.
Dude, fuck you. What?
What's the story with the Hot Dad breakup here?
It's huge news.
It's drama.
It's huge news in that and another one where you went on a Twitter rant yesterday. So it's fun times around the One Take Pod household.
I'm doing really well. I ended things with Hot Dad, who was a single father I was seeing, and I made him watch all these movies with me, and I didn't get to profit off of that for King of Staten Island this time. But I ended things because he's a bad communicator. Did you hear that? You're a bad communicator. And he literally then just goes, you're just high maintenance because you were asking when we were going to hang out the next day. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I decided to go on a date with some other guy I met off Hinge, like randomly, because he told me he'd buy me King of Staten Island and it was $20 on Amazon Prime. Huh? So I didn't want to do that. And so we went out. He basically told me he did not understand why I would get a PhD. But he was like, that is an ultimately useless thing to do. And I was like, okay, what do you do? He's like, I'm a recruiter. And I was like, yes, a much more meaningful career than what I do. And
are you molding young minds? Is that what you're doing? Are you molding young minds? No, because that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he is a company simp. I will say that till I die. He is a company simp. And anyway, he also said I went to a bad he said I went to a bad undergraduate institution for no reason. He also said I was dressed too pretty for the date, which was very confusing to me. And then when we got back and I was like, I don't want to go upstairs and hang out with you, he was like, okay, that's fine. That sucks, but whatever. But do you want to go upstairs and fool around? I have a joint. And I was like, no, you can enjoy your blunt. It's fine. And he then goes, no, it's a fucking joint, you dumb bitch. He didn't say that part, but he was like, it's a fucking joint. And he just decides to go on this long ass rant about the difference between joints and blunts while I'm trying to drop him off at his apartment. And I proceeded to tell him to just go fuck himself and that he was the worst person I've ever met. And then he left his keys in my car after I drove off and I had to go bring them back.
So the King of Staten Island starring Pete Davidson.
That's my thing.
We told her we give her 5 minutes about it. And now we're moving on.
I'm so angry. But it is on brand for what we're talking about, I think, this week, which is disappointment and feeling lonely and dissatisfied and apathetic. So,
And
Joey,
marijuana.
welcome. Yeah.
Long story short, though, so he didn't get you King of Staten Island?
He did not give me King of. He didn't even fucking. No, I spent $20 and I bought canes by myself and drank a bottle of wine and was just sad.
You know what would have gone great?
Great evening.
You know what would have gone
That
great
sounds
with that
amazing.
Canes? You know what would have gone great with that Canes?
What?
A joint.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
What? I don't fucking know what it was. And I'm like,
you said joints, so
I think, yes, I do think that is really what he was offering. But also, as I was driving away, I was like, should I just call the cops on him for no reason? Because I hated him so much.
No.
I was like, do I
Not.
become a narc in this moment?
No.
Because
No.
I hate men so much.
That's karma. That's bad. You know, it's good that you didn't, because if you would have done that, then karma would have come back to you. You know what I mean?
Karma's still coming back for me. Like, I don't
On top
think
of all
anything-
this, we had an identity crisis with her on Twitter last night when she was like, "Oh, should I start an OnlyFans?" Like, what are you doing?
Man.
What are you doing?
Everyone told me yes. Like,
Who is this
17
everyone? I was not a part of this everyone.
So I have like 15 guys that I guess like simp for me on Snapchat, and they were all like, "I'd subscribe," and I'm like, "I fucking know you would, Jared."
Derek.
Just calling him out by name.
That's not his name. There's
Okay.
like 15 of them, and none of them are named Jared.
Dex, what do we call Caitlin?
Mr. Bitches.
All right. Moving on. Joey, people know you for, of course, all the impressions on Instagram as well as Twitter. I mean, I know you from last football season, the Nick Saban impression. So is that just a little background for you after we just had that whatever that was?
So sorry.
What is your background and as far as how'd you get involved with Barstool?
Yeah, man. So that Nick Saban one was one of the first ones that really popped off last football season. And then people were like, "Oh, what else can you do?" And I had a pretty good coach show that I felt good about, and so I did that. And had a little back and forth with them. And then from there, it was like, okay, I got people who were kind of following along who seemed to like it. And I just kept trying to make funny stuff. And from that point, and then like February, I linked up with the Pardon My Take guys when they were in Indy for the Combine. And then the next thing I know, I was on a flight to New York to go see Dave. So, it happened pretty quickly, I guess. But yeah.
I heard Dave Portnoy has like a rooftop. Did you get to go to the rooftop?
Oh my God, we don't-
No, that's like a thing, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably from the Caller Daddy stuff. You probably
That's where I heard it from.
I did not get to make the trip to said rooftop.
Oh, that's
that time.
devastating.
I was with my wife, so he probably didn't want to hang out with a married couple, and Alex Cooper and Sophia, what's her name, Franklin,
yeah.
They're for an eligible man like Dave, it's probably a little bit more interesting to hang out with somebody like that. No, I'm just messing around, but no, I did not get to go up there. We were just going to this, and yeah. So.
The Pardon My Take guys are pretty good crew to link up with if you had to link up with anybody, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So they come to Indy every year for the Combine. Like I said, that's where I am. That's where I still am. And I just hit up Hank and was like, "Hey, let's do something." He's like, "Yeah, for sure. It'd be great." Got to spend a few hours with them one of the days they were here. And from there, got linked up with Portnoy.
What's the situation with you in movies? Where are we at? What's your how do you go? How do you go about watching? How do you go about watching said film? No, like how do you feel about movies? Or is it something that you're super?
This line of questioning.
Do you like art? Like, do you like?
Yeah. At first, I took that question was like, are you like lay down on the couch? Do you like have turn it up like it's
Are you the big spoon or the little spoon when it comes to film? Like, what's the
little spoon? My
Okay.
wife's she can attest. No, I'm just kidding.
Beautiful.
Movie, yeah, no, of course. I mean, I'm, I wouldn't say like I'm like lights, camera, pod guys where like I've seen every film and I call them films and like I rate them. But I mean, I'm a huge movie fan. Always wanted to see the new stuff that comes out. you know, all the classics that people could think of and talk about. I try not to be movie quote guy because I think movie quote guy is kind of annoying.
We've made fun of that.
Yeah, like in the work environment mostly, because I feel like movie quote guy in the work environment always. Am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
No.
I feel like I just feel like movie guy or movie girl person in the work environment, they always fuck up one part of the line, and it makes me so mad. You know what I mean? Like they always talk about the most popular quote, and then they fuck it up just a little bit at the end, where I'm like, you guys suck. But where was I even talking about?
Anything Will Ferrell, I imagine, is always in the
yeah, you got your Step Brothers, you got your Billy Madison,
Mom, the Meatloaf.
Yeah, all that stuff. But big into movies. Love them.
Awesome. So sorry that we made you pay this much for the first time being on this podcast. You're like the first guest we've ever made have to like pay for a movie, actually. But
no, I just wanted to see it. I mean, I'm a Pete Davidson fan, so I was like, I want to watch it. So it just worked out that next
I'm not really, but this may change that. The King of Staten Island, we're finally going to get into it. Let's see here. The King of Staten Island has 7.2 on IMDb. Came out this year, was released on June 12th. Scott has a case of arrested development since his firefighter dad died. That's the first line of this synopsis. He spends his day smoking weed and dreaming of being a tattoo artist until events force him to grapple with his grief and take his first steps forward in life. Written, directed by Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson, and his writing partner as well, Dave Cyrus. Stars Pete Davidson, Belle Powley, Moises Arias. Maud Apatow, Moises Alou, Marissa Tomei, and the one and only Bill Burr, who we're going to have some conversations about him.
I don't fucking like him.
Okay, whatever. And this movie, I don't know what the budget was on this, and I don't know if we'll ever know because they released it on streaming. We'll see how much it comes up. They'll report that it actually made, when there's 0% chance that it actually made that amount of money. But has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, 87% user score. So people like it. I think the main complaint with this movie is that it's a little too long, and that may be where the critics, I think, gave it its biggest complaint. So give it a user score, review, what have you. Joey, we'll start with you first. Give it a little review and a letter grade, if you would.
Wow, letter grade. Okay. I'm used to, obviously, the Barstool background. I'm used to the 1 to 10 scale, like the pizza reviews. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Like, it was a movie that I don't know why I kind of had low expectations going in, because obviously Judd was making it. And like I said, I like Pete Davidson. I support a guy like that. And I knew it was basically about his life, right? Like it's essentially his story in a fictional way, but is his life. And so I was like, okay, this would be cool. I've heard a lot about his situation, obviously with his dad. He's very kind of open about it. But I had low expectations going into it. And so when I saw it, I was like, there was a few actual laughs from me. Like I know it was supposed to be a comedy, but I was like, okay, Pete, you brought the heat on some of these. Like, I appreciated the writing. I think that the friend part, I didn't really really the whole basis and the premise of like his friend group, I didn't really understand how it tied in. And like, even more so after, like, while I was watching it, I was kind of like, okay, I don't see how this plays in with his mom and like Bill Burr, who eventually is going to come in, and him like figuring himself out. Like the pharmacy stealing thing, that
what a wild turn.
I don't even really understand or get why that was necessary. It provided nothing after that. Like literally his friends got caught, went to jail, and we found out that girl was real. I feel like they could have done that in a very different way than making them have a heist at a pharmacy. But yeah, so besides that, and then like you said, the length, I felt like the first 35 to 40 minutes we could have wrapped up pretty quickly. Like we could have started with them out on the beach and the kid comes up and gets the tattoo, you know what I mean, instead of like them being in the basement and them having pizza and them doing. I was kind of like, all right, where are we going here? Then once the ball finally got rolling with Bill Burr, that's kind of what I was grading it on from that point on. So I would say a B- for me. On
Like
Staten
that's I feel like that's where a few. Well, at least that's kind of what in the range I feel like Dex and I are. But we'll start with the people that didn't like it. Caitlin, little follow up to that.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
You shat on this movie
Burr.
all night.
I just hate Bill Burr in this movie. I like Bill. I just didn't. I felt no empathy for him. I don't know. First of all, the length thing I think is just part of the Apatow genre at this point. That it's like if it's not a long ass 5 hour long film, it's not an Apatow film. Because I mean, like Trainwreck was also like too fucking long.
It's the main complaint with funny people.
Funny people, way too long.
It's just the genre, I think. Like that's what he does. Is a movie that's too fucking long. Could have been actually a lot better than it was, but it was really good. I like Pete Davidson. I've been following him since he was on like Bro Code on MTV, which is like how I know that his ex-girlfriend's in the movie at the very beginning, Carly Aquilino, is like the girl at the party who accidentally asked about his dad because of the tattoo. That's his ex-girlfriend that he cheated.
Oh, wow.
He cheated on her with Ariana Grande. So like I've kind of followed his life a little bit because I liked his comedy. I liked the work he did on SNL. I think he's pretty good, but I don't know. I liked it. I think Marissa Tomei was, as usual, amazing. She's one of my favorite comedians out there. I don't know. Like, I just think that, like, for instance, I wanted to like the Bill Burr character, like, at all more. And, like, at the end for that to be a more satisfying conclusion for me that, like, everything's fine somehow. And I just didn't. I ended the film being like, I don't really fucking care. He is a bum, and I don't think he should be with Marissa Tomei. She deserves better. And I felt bad for Kelsey. That's, like, pretty much my feelings. I'll give it a B+.
What a change.
I liked it. Like, I thought it was
higher than
funny.
me. You say you didn't like it.
I literally never told anyone that I didn't like this movie. I just have a lot of complaints.
No,
Like,
she just shitted on it all night in the group message.
I was also so depressed and so drunk.
Eventually, I'll be ready for the Caitlyn curveball, but like it's still messing me up because like
No.
I gave Titanic like an A-, calling it the worst movie ever made. Basically.
Rose is a dumb bitch and should die. A- is what.
Rose is a dumb bitch and should have died. But like, yeah, and Kelsey should have been the star of this movie because I ended up watching this film. Like,
Wait, no. You were there, but then no, you're not.
Kelsey is a math genius.
We'll get into it later.
Kelsey can add 3 numbers. And that's super
She did
impressive.
basic algebra.
And
What
he-
Pete Davidson could do, so technically she does win on that front.
She is a comparable genius. And I don't know. I felt her arc was my favorite arc, but that's probably just because it was relatable. Where I was all like, yeah, fucking kick that bum out. Like
Staten
fucking-
Island 10.
Dude, also fuck Staten Island. Someone at a bar the other night was talking about Staten Island, and like I've never met someone I liked from Staten Island. I don't know.
This is gonna go on YouTube.
Staten Island.
This is going.
This is good. My parents are from the Bronx, so like I can say that. Fuck Staten Island.
Okay.
Is that what that means, being from the Bronx?
Everyone that's like actually from New York hates Staten Island because Staten Island's not. It's just New Jersey.
Right, but they try to be New York. Yeah.
They do try to be New York, but it's not. It ain't real. You're just a caucus, part 2.
If we get
But
all of Staten Island in our mentions because of you, we're kicking you off.
then fucking do it. Fucking do it. Cancel me for this.
Wow.
Staten Island's gonna
I want to get canceled for this.
Oh,
By
okay.
Staten Island?
Yeah, by the entire of Staten Island.
A series of Guidos just cancels you?
That's like my people. Like they can't really cancel me.
Dex, what do you give it?
You hated it, but A+.
A+.
Yeah,
Fucking
Caitlyn
trash.
I actually did really like this movie. one of the first movies we've watched in a while that I was like, I'll probably watch this again, like not for the pod.
Aw.
Yeah, it's cool. I laughed. I wasn't like emotionally affected by much of it, like I was supposed to be, I think. So I can't give it like an A or whatever, but like I'll give it like a B. I'll give it a B, flat B. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It earned its 82.
Yeah.
All right, Jake.
This is so apathetic.
Actually, I think I figured out why.
Welcome to the One Take Podcast. Whatever.
Figured out why Bill Burr sucks. It's because he has the audacity to be a Jets fan
Yes.
and a Red Sox fan
Yes.
Wow.
at the same fucking time.
Also, who goes to minor league games? What fucking trash?
With season
Look,
tickets.
yeah,
It
that was
sounds
kinda
so
weird.
inconvenient.
Look,
No, he's a dumbass.
Inconvenient.
Let me just say this and look Royden right in the eye during this Zoom meeting. Literally, anyone that goes to see minor league sports is trash.
I can get going.
Okay.
I can get going one night or two nights. Like
Okay, yes.
they're giving out like special like taco shirts or whatever they do.
you're
at
not
minor
gonna
league.
go to. You're not gonna go to 50-cent beer night to the Houston Skeeters to go see
No.
them play. To go
No.
see them play to the Round Rock Express. You're not gonna go see that for 50
Your
cent
selling
beer.
point is the cheap beer. It's not
Yes,
Yeah,
the
what?
sport.
I could go get cheap beer like down the road.
for 50
And,
cents.
like, yes.
But yeah,
But-
having season tickets,
Colt
it's like
45.
Wednesday night. There's a Sugarland Skeeters game I gotta go to because I have tickets for this. Shit.
Season tickets is it.
Sugarland Skeeter.
Yeah, Sugarland. Yeah,
insane.
Sugarland skin. The season tickets though is asinine. I don't know why you would do that for a minor league game. For like a Thursday night in Staten Island. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go see a Staten Island Yankees game. Why not?
But like another to your point about that scene, like I thought that like playing it up. Oh yeah, I got tickets to the Yankees. He's like, oh fuck yeah, and then it's oh no Staten Island. Like I was like, oh okay, haha. Like get the bit. I didn't know we were going to fucking do the whole thing with the entire fire department. Like I felt like that conversation could have been elsewhere when he's going off at the Staten Island Yankee game about why firemen suck. I'm like, this is just not the place.
Yeah.
With also just a grossly underused Steve Buscemi. Like, I just R.I.P. Like, not R.I.P. He's alive, but like,
Quite a lot.
Very
But
much
alright,
like he was in the.
but R.I.P. the use of him in this film. Like, I don't know. I
See, I
wanted
didn't.
so much more.
Me being such a Sandler guy, like I've grown to know obviously Buscemi as like he does funny stuff and like he had funny lines in this movie, but
Yeah.
him being like the grandpa of the fire department, like making sure everybody was okay, was a weird adjustment for me.
Yeah, it is
Yeah, I
weird
can
that
see
all
that.
of a sudden he's like, "Wow, you're old." Like it's just like,
Yeah,
One of those
like,
things-
you're speaking the words of wisdom, like you're crazy eyes and Mr. Deeds, like fucking.
you're the dude like marking off
No,
the people not to kill in.
Yes, yeah. I mean, now you're like telling Pete Davidson why his dad mattered. I'm like,
Right.
this is wild.
Weird turn. Sorry, Jake. We got off track. Go ahead.
Sorry.
What's your
Okay.
fuck minor league baseball, Jake?
A- fuck minor league baseball.
Jake is
why
not
we're
giving
being
this an A-.
Jake hated this. I don't think Jake really liked this movie at all.
Okay, it's not that I hated it. I like it because it's an Apatow film, and I do love Apatow films. Really, my main issue is that this is a half-baked film.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many storylines that are introduced that never get completed or serve no purpose whatsoever. And so the length issue really is for the idea that, like, we had to constantly introduce different themes and moments from Pete Davidson's life, because this is semi-autobiographical. And so, like, all these, like, what I'm going to assume are pretty tangentially related moments in his life have to show up in this film to be like, this is how I got here. They don't matter. And the other issue is that the ending is not earned, because there's nothing that happens in the ending. There's no real character growth of Pete Davidson's character. And so when we get to the end, when he's just standing outside in Manhattan and he's looking up and he's happy, it's like, the best thing that happened to you is you told a girl you loved her. Like, there's no character growth here. You don't have a job. You still think this tattoo restaurant idea is going to work out, even though it's horrible.
The big hurrah was he made the trip from Staten Island to New York. It's like, I've made it. The trolley here, folks.
This is the growth. I sat on the ferry for 2 hours. We did
The
it,
true
guys.
message of this film is your growth is leaving fucking Staten Island. That's the
4
character.
years, I still don't have a job, but I made it out of there.
But
Guys,
I fucking got out.
He has ADD and he sat on that ferry still and read numbers for a while.
That's
Give him some
true.
credit.
He has Crohn's disease, and he did that.
He can't
That's really
enjoy a hot dog.
Her test was going to take 3 hours. So that was a long time for him to wait in a city that he's very unfamiliar with. Who knows what he was doing in that 3 hours?
In that 3 hours, he met Ariana Grande. is what happened.
And
That's a cliffhanger. We have a sequel for what he did in the 3 hours there.
Joined SNL. Made millions of dollars.
Right,
She's
Lauren
like,
Bacall was walking across the street, and that's where it happened. Boom.
See, I thought that would have been a good ending. And technically the ending's okay because I think from whatever the building was that she wanted to go take the test and like the final shot where he's looking up, I think the Twin Towers stood there, that skyline. So I think it was like a tiny nod to his father. But like that's okay. Like I get it. I get it's a closing. It's, you know, a step in I forgot what the word I'm looking for. The acceptance cycle. But yeah, like have the final scene where he like walks down, passes Rockefeller or something.
Sure.
Like, just be his life. That being said, for it to be semi-autobiographical, there is a shit ton of heart in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, even though Pete Davidson is a piece of shit the whole time and he has no growth, I'm constantly rooting for him. Like, I'm constantly hoping for that moment where it catches on and, like, maybe he does become a firefighter, or maybe he realizes that he's a shitty tattoo artist, but for some reason was really good cartoon artist.
I thought that was going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's a crap ton of heart, and I'm there for that, but this is a half-baked movie, and I can't get behind it because half the time I'm just going, why is this happening? It serves no purpose other than a slight comical reprieve. So, C.
Okay. So we got B plus, B minus, B plus, and C. Real quick, I don't know. Y'all said everything that is to say. I'm not a Pete Davidson fan. I don't like him on SNL. I think he's just like, I really don't. Like, I just don't like him. Not that I go out of my way to watch SNL now, but like, I just think that they use him as millennial guy, and that may not be his fault, but it's just like, we need a young guy. Throw Pete Davidson in there, and it's just whatever. And some of that stuff that he does in SNL is there where he just yells, and like that's what his comedy is on SNL. That being said, some of his earlier stand-up is really funny when he was really young, and this has the most depth of anything that I think I've seen Pete Davidson do. Now, granted, I don't know how much depth you get in sketch comedy, but this one I wrote down. This was a movie made for younger millennials by a younger millennial, and that I feel like Judd Apatow knew that for a little bit, because it touches just ever so slightly on things that a lot of people feel like they're dealing with right now. Like, touches on his depression, touches on a little thing, touches on like how he doesn't feel accepted anywhere. And that's sort of a thing that I feel like a lot of 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds are dealing with right now. And Pete Davidson's well aware of that. I feel like I think he's got his finger really much on him. His writing partner do have a finger very much on the pulse of what people our age are dealing with. And so I think that's why I like this movie so much. And unfortunately, I related a little bit too much to the dude.
For sure.
I was like, ugh, like I didn't feel good about myself after it for a second. I was like, I don't have a bunch of tattoos, but I know what it's like to not like yourself. So that's fun.
I know what it's like to hate.
Yeah. So,
as a dude who constantly gets tattoos to feel something, I relate to that.
Yeah. Horrendous tattoo choices by my guy, though. I put that on Twitter last night. Like, horrendous tattoo choices by him. Like, I mean, god awful. But
you didn't like the cat?
No, not the tattoos he gave, but actually on himself.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's just
His
not.
chest ones are not great. His arm ones, I think, are they're fine. But like I said, the skull and the shark right here, that's not doing it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the
invasion of Mars or whatever.
Shark.
What was it? It's the Martian head or whatever on his.
Is
on
that
his
what it
Oh,
is?
the Mars
Martian
attacks
head?
head.
Yeah, it's a Mars attacks head on it. I was just
shit.
like it's a nice looking tattoo, but it's just random, man. It's just all these
Yeah.
random things. As long as he doesn't get face tattoos like Post Malone, I think we're good. But like, then I think we're okay. Like that starts to just dip. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
I
tough.
love Post Malone with his like stupid ass face
Always tired.
Dude, I don't know. I'm like,
Stay away.
maybe it's like that's the part where it's like I relate to this film like with like Kelsey, where I'm just like, I'd do it. Like I'm like still just like I'd sad do it. Like I don't know.
I
It's
don't
just-
know. I think finally, to wrap up my thoughts, I don't think a lot of the storylines go a little where I was so confused by his friends getting shot in the drugstore. Like, what did that happen? Like, nothing happened. They're like, we went to prison. What happened to you? Nothing. They didn't even look for him. It was just like the cops didn't even try.
Did they
I'm
just
not
do this?
gonna-
Did they do that just to make the Jay-Z joke? Like, is that literally the only reason they did that arc?
No.
Yeah, aren't all of his friends in prison? Like that was like some of the jokes are really funny. I think a few of them are very Apatow-ish, like improv, go 1,000 miles an hour. Like this is what we're doing here. I felt like Marissa Tomei and Bill Burr were the best parts of this movie. I felt like their relationship. I felt like them together. Like this movie was just about as much about Marissa Tomei trying to get him the fuck out of her house as it was about Pete Davidson. But the one thing that I did not like about Pete, the Arrested Development storyline throughout the through line of this movie, where he's just like, all right, we're done. Like I didn't like that characterization where he's just like an asshole all the time and constantly interrupting things. Like eventually, like, and they get in a fight, but eventually like somebody's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like stop being weird right now. And I guess they do that a little bit, but the whole through line of, I don't like this. I'm messed up. And him addressing that he's messed up the entire time is like, I'm messed up. I'm messed up. Eventually, you can only say that so many times in the script before I'm like,
To that point too, I think, like I said, I like Pete Davidson, and to your point, like I don't think I've always been kind of confused why he's on SNL, because I think he's just more of like a stand-up, like famous guy. Like he's like famous for being famous at this point almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not, and he'll even admit that. Like I've seen interviews where he's like, I have no idea why the fuck I'm even on that show, because like obviously he doesn't do impressions. He's not a sketch comedy guy. But like to your point about him, I think that's something that Pete Davidson, as just a person, like if you hear him talking just interviews, or like he's always so quick. In real life to point out like I'm fucked up, I have problems, I blah 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 blah. And so not even in the script where you're like, all right, you can only say so much, but it's like, Pete, man, what is this more of just like a personality trait now? I don't know. I don't want to judge, but
are you like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he brings awareness, especially like, and we can get into the notes really quick, like 30 minutes into this, we can get into the notes, but he brings awareness just ever so slightly to antidepressant issues and like drug problems and smoking enough weed and things like that. And just constantly being high or constantly, thinking that your self-worth is low. Like he does that a lot, and he brings some good points to that, but it just like I feel like only so many times that you can be like, I'm fucked up. Yeah, man, we know. What are we doing about it? And eventually they get there, but it takes a long ass journey to get there.
Like the scene from Riverdale. I'm a weirdo. I'm fucking weird.
Do you see this fucking hat? I'm weird.
All that being said, I give it like an 88. Like I get like a B++. Like I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's right up there with Trainwreck, if not a little bit better. I have to go back and rewatch Trainwreck, but as far as like the vehicle movies that Apatow does, I feel like Trainwreck, it's right up there with Trainwreck and a few of his other films. It's better than the other some of the more recent films that he's directed, like This Is 40 and Funny People and stuff like that. It has a little bit more levity than that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into some notes real quick. I just wrote college me loved that opening song.
oh yeah,
Kid Cudi and King Chip. Take that for what you will, but they do the depressed thing in the movie where like, okay, we're going to establish this guy's depressed, where he's like, I'm going to close my eyes on a road. Am I suicidal? But then he's not really, because they never address like the suicidal aspect of it the rest of the movie.
Which I think is weird because being borderline, like having borderline personality disorder is such a huge part of like Pete Davidson's like identity as, I guess, a comedian. Like he talks about it really openly. So I was kind of surprised why that wasn't a bigger part. Like I guess like that depression aspect wasn't a bigger part of it. I don't know. I think like for me, yeah, one of the weaknesses was like how it kind of brings up mental health and then like doesn't really go anywhere with it, which I was kind of surprised because he's been so transparent about mental health. So I just thought that was an interesting writing choice. I mean, he doesn't owe anything to be transparent in the script, but I don't know.
He has like a kind of throwaway line after the graduation party where the sister goes into paints.
Yeah.
Where she goes, "Are you going to hurt yourself?" And he goes, "Probably. I don't know how." And I was like, okay, so that's actually relatable. Like that's a real thing.
Probably.
That's probably the most discussion this film had about mental issues, and then immediately begins to start ignoring them.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody could do it, it'd be me. I'd be great at it. It's like some of his dark humor, and I wrote this down later in the film because especially when Bill Burr starts to come in and he's like this sort of, he's not the angry guy anymore, but he's more of the schmuck.
I'm trying to fuck your mom.
Yeah, schmuck Joe Blow, sport. And they're having all this like family conversation and stuff, and his dark humor intermixed with that weird conversationalist humor. The weird office humor, I guess, as Joey was saying earlier, is kind of a weird juxtaposition because he's like, I'm going to kill myself. And they're just like, Wednesdays, right? Just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole opening conversation is all just like, your dad's dead, huh? That shit's hilarious.
Liked that. I've been in that situation with a friend who like there was someone new in the group and like didn't know that their like parent had passed away, and they're acting all like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And it's like, this person has been dealing with this for a long ass time. Like it doesn't hit them the same way, my dude. Like, and you're making it weirder by making it weird. So like,
but like also it hits him.
Yeah, it also does hit him, and he has to go have sex with his almost girlfriend, but not come because he never comes. Apparently, I don't know what's happening there.
Shout out to antidepressant cum joke. What a line to throw in there. That is somebody that's like, yeah, this happens.
Do you think it's the antidepressants? Yeah, it's totally. Sure. I would totally come all the time if it wasn't for these antidepressants.
The one of the best lines in that opening scene was like, you introduced me to the girl that gave me chlamydia. You assisted the chlamydia. It was like, my favorite
is they're like, he can't afford to get rid of it, like, which implies he still has chlamydia and is doing nothing about it.
Joey, what do you think about that opening scene where it established his like rapport with his friends and all that, but also like, I don't know, how they kind of just lightly touch on some of those issues?
I'm with you. I thought that was great. I laughed at those same jokes that you were talking about. It established that him and what's-her-name are banging, so you know that there's going to be some sort of storyline there. Cool. Then how about we just wake up the next day and we're at the beach and the kid hops in? I feel like there was like 25 minutes or so in between there where we were kind of like figuring everything else out. And then all of a sudden we're getting to Bill Burr. And by that point, I felt like, where's Bill Burr? Like the you know what I mean? I was like, this has got to be more of a main storyline for me. And so, yeah, no, I loved when they're sitting in the basement. It reminded me, I think, I probably reminded all of us of sometimes, you know, when we were young 20s, some of you might be in your young 20s still, or, you know, in high school and you're just fucking around. You don't really have any direction of anything. You're just like to be with your people. You like to, you know, have some weed around, and it was very relatable. But yeah, then after that, I was just like, all right, where are we going with this? Let's kind of pick this thing up a little bit.
Jake is 45 years old.
44 right now, 45 in November.
In August, so I'm getting up there.
I don't know. They do have like a drug scene where it establishes like they're selling drugs to minors, like before.
3 Xanax.
Yeah, he's like, no, he goes, yeah. He's like, "Can I get 6 Xanax?" And his friend's like, "Who needs 6 Xanax? Who the fuck needs 6 Xanax?"
That seems hilarious, man.
You get 4.
You look like him, and I fucking hate it.
Yep.
What size are you? 9? I wear a 9.
Igor can wear them. Also, what fucking name is Igor? In Staten Island.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyler, the creator.
Everyone in this film is greasy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's just
Nobody has
accurate.
washed their face.
That's just an accurate rendition of what everyone I know in Staten Island looks like.
Even Staten Island tonight, man.
Yeah, just destroying people.
I'm gonna wreck them anyway.
My favorite line in this movie, and it's just a throwaway line, is when they're at the they're at the graduation party, and he goes up to Todd. He's like, "What's up, Todd?" And he's like, "Nothing much, man. How you doing?" He's like, "Do you have any weed?" "Yep, home run, Todd."
Didn't need for anything else. Yep.
Home run,
Did that
Todd.
end up being Kelsey's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, because when he's leaving afterwards, he's like, "Can I stay with you?" No.
No.
I was like,
You're in
that's
my
so
bunk
weird to
bed.
introduce your brother, but I guess we've seen it before.
Which also means that he was invited to that graduation, but Kelsey wasn't.
No, it wasn't Kelsey's brother. It wasn't Kelsey's brother. It was her.
Was it not?
No, it was his
Claire's
sister's.
sisters.
Yeah, Claire's sister's brother. Thank you.
What?
But it's still
They
fun.
look the same.
Yeah.
They have the same face. I don't.
Underlying racist jokes in here when it's just like the guy's like, "We lost a couple people to ice."
Oh,
Oh shit.
I was
Which
dying.
shouldn't happen because they're fighting with Hulk hands for tips.
Yeah.
There should absolutely have been a raid.
It's just like the weirdest thread in this movie that I just like keep forgetting happens is that they have like a fucking fight club, and you guys just mentioned that, and I feel like I just had a vision come back to me where I was like, "That's right, that's in this fucking movie. Why?"
Pete Davidson gets his ass kicked this entire movie.
yeah.
Which correct, he should. Like
He gets hemmed up, but with Hulk gloves. Like, why? What's the point of the Hulk gloves thing?
protection.
Yeah, I just was like, definitely, they don't have any boxing gloves, so they're just like, I've got some Hulk hands. They're like, yeah, that'll work. They're soft.
Why not?
Someone's
I don't know.
Halloween costume.
I had those Hulk hands when we were kids, and they have like basically like speakers in them that
Yes.
that make the Hulk clobbering sounds or whatever. But when me and my brother fought with them, you would beat the shit out of each other with those things. It was like when you had a lightsaber and they were just those plastic things, and you would slap the fuck out of your brother with that thing. Yeah, that shit hurt, man. It was like a bamboo rod.
Okay.
Fuck you, fat Kanye. That was a fucking funny from the I did like in this film, and it was kind of anytime they would insult somebody, it's not like in any Apatow movie they would insult people and they would move on. In this movie they would insult somebody and feel bad for it. And that's very much a millennial thing to be like, that was bad. That guy's nice. He's a nice guy. We shouldn't have been that mean to that guy. Staten Island Yankees. We had that discussion already. Bill Burr is great in this, but in the very beginning, he's just Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Mustache Bill Burr.
we need a very angry guy to come in here and just yell at Marissa Tomei.
But rightfully so. My 9-year-old child now has a tattoo. Like, he should be a little pissed off.
But like, I didn't give your 9-year-old child a tattoo. I don't know why you're yelling at me, sir.
How do you yell at Marissa Tomei? Like, how do you look that beautiful woman in the face?
You open the door and it's Marissa Tomei, and you're like, never mind. I'm sorry. My kid was
Ma'am,
This was
it's
my fault,
fault.
not yours.
Which is literally what happens. It just takes him a second. He's all like, ooh, I shouldn't have fucking yelled at Marissa Tomei. Like,
I'm going back there. I'm trying to fuck.
I'm trying to fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Marissa Tomei is great in this movie. She is fucking fed up, though. When she's like, she has the kid's phone, and she's on FaceTime, and you can tell that he's been arguing with this fucking man-child for 24 years, and he's sitting there and just put on the goddamn suit. Like,
I actually have a note about that scene.
Go for it.
Marissa Tomei has a house working 2 jobs at an ER in a school, can't afford a phone.
Yeah.
Hey man, rent prices in New York ain't nothing to joke with.
She's also likely supporting Pete Davidson's drug habit in this film because he doesn't have a job. He's literally probably getting an allowance from his mom and spending it on like fucking weed and some Xannies. Like she's paying for that shit.
Also putting a kid through school.
And putting a child through school. Like some university that never
Man, I completely forget about the sister storyline because it adds nothing.
I actually like the sister, especially
Maud?
yeah.
I thought the college scene was a lot of fun. I wanted to stay at college for longer. I was like, hey, he's getting out there. Good for him. There's life beyond just like, being miserable and smoking weed in your mom's basement. And it came and went, just like some.
Yeah.
Well, and the same with like the pharmacy thing, like scene in the aftermath. Like I really liked her. I think in that moment of being like, don't fucking do anything. Like literally, like if you do anything, don't fucking do it. Yeah. Just because, like, I don't know. I feel as if like we've all been both those people, like both the person that's about to do something fucking stupid, and then also the person that's like, don't do that. Like literally, if you do anything, it'll be bad, so don't do it. Like, so I don't know. I also like Judd Apatow. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Remember, kids. Dex. What is it?
Hashtag don't do crime.
Hashtag don't do crime.
Also do it because apparently you might be Jay-Z.
Only one of us.
Only one reason to do crime.
1 out of 5 of you might be Jay-Z.
You got me to come over and touch your balls. Oh, we're gonna bring that up again.
Why was that so relatable?
A throwaway line in that movie. I don't know. You do. Also another one of my. We're kind of skipping ahead, but they do the minor league baseball thing. The Crohn's. He's like, just tell him next time you just don't want a hot dog, and he's just like, I have Crohn's disease. I'm trying to spread awareness. That was one of the scenes that I was kind of annoyed with. I'm glad they put it in there because the payoff in the bar scene later is cool because they're like, then heroes actually do get to deserve to have families. Like they deserve to have families as much as anybody. But it took Pete Davidson being a fucking, or is it Paul? I forget. But it took him being an asshole to a bunch of people he didn't know to be like, for that payoff to happen. So like you were saying, Joey, like I don't know like why we do that at the Staten Island Yankees game, but
yeah, I agree. Thought it was very important. Like I understood what its basis and like the meaning behind it at that point, but the setting was a little bit weird. How about the cameos from fucking Jimmy Tatro and MPK?
Yeah, I wrote down
Action Bronson.
Yeah, fucking Action Bronson at the end. Is it a New York movie if you don't have Action Bronson in it?
Being stabbed.
Yeah. We'll get to that scene here in a second, but the shout out, Jimmy Tatro. We reviewed a movie of him with him in it, where it's just like he's in all these bigger movies.
Yeah,
like it's just like him to be like the younger guy in these movies, but like shout out to him for being like a YouTube sensation, and then him just going like, nah, fuck that YouTube money. I'm gonna actually go do something with it. It's actually really incredible how well he's transformed that into that.
Yeah, but it's just like Pete Davidson just put, he's like, yeah, I got my buddies, like, MGK, best friends with him, Jimmy Tatro, put him in there. I mean, fuck it, I'd do the same thing if I was in his spot. So.
You do the Adam Sandler thing where everybody gets.
Oh yeah, look out for your boys, or your girls, or both.
Wrong Missy, starring Joey.
Let's
see. You want me to babysit your kids? I do drugs.
Me.
Yeah, it was
today.
Just like, he's like, I'm high. He's like, I know, but yeah.
Okay,
I put
the ex-wife's logic there that like only somebody who's not really that fucked up would tell you they're extremely fucked up. So like, you can watch my kids like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that was good.
I followed it.
I did like the relationship between he and the two kids. Like where it's just like, oh well, this character is empathetic. Like you can feel like he's not completely an asshole. He just has to relate to like, I don't know, children. But
it's just one of those things though that like very long thing for a very short payoff of like, it was showing that he was empathetic, but that whole like the Harold kid was coming up with his idea for the cartoon. At the very beginning, Pete was like, "Oh no, that sucks." And at the very end of all that shit, he has a kick-ass drawing of his superhero character that he comes up with, and it's like, so through all that, it's just one of those. I don't know. I felt like again for the common theme of just kind of like took a little bit longer than what it should have, but I mean, I enjoyed it too. It was
a
sweet.
superhero, which was literally just Frozone from The Incredibles.
I thought you were going to say that at first.
Yeah. I mean, it literally was just Frozone from The Incredibles, which I didn't get that because they go, okay, they show the his artistry, and it's better than any tattoo that he puts on Bill Burr's back at the end of that. And then I'm like, oh, so he's gonna go try to be like a comic book artist or something like that. Right. Absolutely not. They just don't fucking they don't do anything with it.
I thought there was gonna be another joke. Like I thought the Harold drawing that he showed Bill Burr, his son, I thought that was gonna be Pete Davidson's. Like and I was like, oh yeah, he still sucks. Bill Burr's like, gonna appreciate it anyways. And then when he whipped out that, I was like, that's the best fucking drawing I've ever seen.
Bill Burr,
why aren't you doing that? Do that.
Bill Burr now has a series of tattoos on his back that he thinks looks like that kick-ass cartoon character. It looks nothing like that.
Okay, terrible. Let's see. Jimmy Tatro, I put like a Jimmy Tatro appearance. He's like, I can't go to sleep. Dip your weed in NyQuil. Shut the fuck up. Okay, what was the purpose of the guy, the most jacked dude I've ever seen coming out of the shower and going up to him and being like, I appreciate your sacrifice? What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Well, the biggest dude I've ever seen, ever. Like, he's the most jacked guy. Like, he just comes up to him naked and he's just like, I appreciate your sacrifice. He's like,
I forgot about that.
He's like, thank you.
Dad, yeah. Weird.
Shout out to budget Michael Clark Duncan for playing that role.
Some of these scenes feel like fever dreams because, like, I literally don't remember them until y'all are. And I watched this movie last night.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there was a man, and then I'm like, you're right. There was a man coming out of a shower that said, "Thank you for your service."
And I don't think we ever see that dude again.
We never do.
He wasn't one of the boys.
Firefighters at, like, the bar.
Yeah.
What?
Did that guy ever exist?
This is a deeper narrative about Pete Davidson's increasing psychosis.
Psychosis and questionable sexuality. Like, no, he doesn't even know. He's just
This is a deeper narrative.
What do you call him? Shout out budget Michael Clark Duncan. Jesus. So, okay, they do the fire thing. Oh, no, okay, I wrote down a bunch of one-liners, but when he goes back to his mom's house and he's just arguing with Joy, that's one of the funniest fucking things. And they're like, eat a dick, Joy. He's like, I had one for breakfast. And he's just like, whoa! Yeah. Just like Tommy boys are in her face or something like that. But then they do the fire thing. Explosions in the sky is always great. I don't give a fuck. Whatever it's over. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly.
Like, I don't know. Maybe like.
Oh, text drop. Oh no.
Someone.
Oh boy.
Pause.
Thank you for the clap and pause. Actually, Zoom does not give me time codes, so that does help a little bit.
53 minutes. What happened, Dex?
Thank you.
I'm really just helping out today. Look you.
Also,
All right. Resuming.
Does
Why?
everybody else's audio repeat back into their headphones?
Nope.
Damn it, I don't know how to turn it off. It's bothering the shit out of me. I don't need to monitor myself.
Sorry.
That sucks.
Sorry, buddy. All right. Yeah. So resuming. All right. So let's see. Explosion in the sky is great. That comes out of nowhere. They're just kind of running. It looked kind of terrifying. I could never be a fucking fireman. No, thank you. No, thanks.
Yes.
Nope.
Same.
Couldn't do it. Except for Jake. Jake said, sure.
To being a fire person?
Yeah. I don't know why. There's just some part of it that appeals to me.
No. I have theories.
Yeah, no,
but, like,
thank you.
I don't know if you want my psychoanalysis right now.
Yeah, we'll skip that. Off pod, we'll get the psychoanalysis. Caitlin, Steve, something's funny about Steve Buscemi going like, "I stopped coke 4 years ago."
Yeah. That was classic.
I felt like that was a real life line.
I
Right,
don't believe him.
There, and then they talk about the coke story. Is like, he's like, "Tell me the coke story," and then they don't. I don't know. He's like,
they tell up to that. I didn't even realize it.
I mean, I thought it was. It may have been like. I thought it was the separate story of them, of him getting on the hood of the car and everything. I felt like it was separate from like him actually doing coke, but apparently he was just like a coke fiend. His dad was like a coke fiend and was like tripping all the time. That's why they were watching cartoons and stuff together.
That's right, because they got his cop buddy confused because they were like, "Oh, it's the cop buddy that would give him coke or whatever," and then they were like, "No, it's the other cop buddy."
And is there a better bar song? Let's like shout out random bar songs. One Headlight goes fucking hard when you're in a bar. I don't care where you are.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
You don't even know that? How do you what? How do you not know Wallflowers One Headlight?
I don't know, but Dex and I are both young.
I'm the same age as you.
I'm 23. You're older than us. I'm 23.
And you don't know that. Come on, all right, never mind.
Was that "Come On, Eileen"? What were you saying?
No one really knows the words. It's like a classic '90s sing-along where you know every word, but you don't know any of the words at all.
And that was great what they were doing.
Like you don't know what you said, but you know what it is.
One headlight.
Well, get excited for when this episode comes out because I will be opening the podcast with the song.
I'm not going to listen.
You're just going to skip ahead? Just spite me?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, so they do it, and no way Bill Burr would let him give him a fucking tattoo. And I thought it was going to be one tattoo. He gave him, it's like a canvas on his back. What the fuck?
Sketchbooked this man.
Back full of clip art.
That was just clip art. One of them, I swear, was just a fucking Pac-Man ghost. And I was like, yeah.
I did like, I mean, you know, the whole one on the shoulder with the new family and the dad and the son, that got me a little bit.
Except for their faces look like something out of like a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, those were not great. Still working on the eyes, but
I like Marissa Tomei looking with like such terror, and then she gets to the family and she's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's okay. We're family."
She still doesn't say, "You can do this." She says, "You could do this."
You could.
Like,
there's potential here.
Yeah, one word you got to really key in on. You know, you're not quite there, but maybe you could someday.
7th round grade for sure.
7th round grade.
I will say the montage of him getting tattooed is actually pretty good. Just like in the firehouse on the park bench. Like, that's actually it's a really good use of the montage.
Yeah,
it's supposed to hurt. Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking needles going in your back.
You have your
new that bad, children.
Although you have your potential new wife's ex-husband on your on your shoulder for the rest of your life.
Because the shrine to my dad's gone, so now you're the shrine.
I've made you my shrine.
You are the shrine to my dead father.
Bill Burr's own kids don't get any love?
No.
No.
There's no stepkids here.
Fucking Harold.
Yeah, like it's not like he tattooed that on his mom. He tattooed on his mom's boyfriend who already has children. Like
he's not married into this family.
But Joey, we've already established from the ex-wife, he doesn't give a fuck about his kids. He's trying to not have custody.
We still don't really know if that's true or not. He kind of was just like, you know, he said, she said, oh, okay. And then
I don't know. I believe her.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
He feels like a schmuck. And also like one of the claims, like the Jets like gambling thing, he doesn't even like dismiss. He's like, that's fucking true, but like guess what? It's good.
Hey, they got
three
Denzel
picks.
Mims and Sam Darnold. We're gonna calm down on that right now.
Oh, that was a funny line too. When Davidson, I don't know if you mentioned that or not. When Davidson was just like, I forget exactly what he said, but just made fun of him for betting on the Jets because like you haven't figured it out yet. How are you gonna keep betting on the Jets? Yeah, that was pretty.
The Jets are coming back. No, they're not.
Yeah,
Mine was improv.
that was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
The
That feels
funniest
right.
Davidson tossed out the Jets line in passing, and Bird just took it and ran.
the he throws him in the pool, which is just like, I'm gonna tell my mom you tried to drown me. It's above ground pool. You're like 8 feet tall. That was, and they use that in all the promo
Right.
for this too. But it was really fucking funny in context. Action Bronson sighting, and he just like, man, we can't call the cops. He's like, we got to do something. I'm so high right now. He's like, I'm high too. The okay, and then one of the last
Have your
throw.
ID.
Yeah, can I have your ID.
We're nothing alike. Oh.
And then the final funny line to me was when he just they all start hugging, and he's like, "Can you let me go? You're so smooth. You're like a sea otter." Yeah. All right. That's all. That's pretty much all I got. You didn't like Bill Burr because you had 2 bad dates in a row. That's all I'll say.
That's not true.
That's
You did have
I-
2 bad dates in a row.
If
You went
anyone
into-
that I did
you went
have
into
2
this
bad
with
dates
a-
in a row. However, if I was going to hate anyone because of 2 bad dates, I would hate Pete Davidson because everyone I date is just like Pete Davidson, which is to say bad. But like, I think
Why you
Okay.
hating,
Humble
hating-
brag.
I said bad. How is that a humble brag?
Everyone I date is like this world famous comedian
Who
who
has
everyone loves.
extreme problem?
But do you mean okay? So we're talking like personality, mental makeup, not physical.
Yes, no, they're also all very lanky and tall and have dark hair. Every single one of them.
A lot
They
of
all have
tattoos.
Crohn's disease.
They all do have Crohn's disease.
None of them have enjoyed a hot dog in their lives.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone I've dated has enjoyed a single thing in their lives except for saying, "Hey, follow me on SoundCloud." But like that's why am I shooting so much fire today? I'm not that angry anymore. But like
You're shooting fire at yourself.
I know. It's called self-loathing, and it's because I'm like decreasing my steroids right now.
It's a movie about that.
I've been on steroids for
Yeah,
like
Pete
7
Davidson
days,
movie about that.
and they're like lowering my dose of steroids, and I think it's causing me to hate myself slightly more. But like, I was at peak when I was on 40 milligrams of prednisone. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would hate Bill Burr. I hate Bill Burr because he's trash. That's
Bill Burr is a
That's it,
kind
that's-
soul waiting to get out, and you know.
well,
it.
I really do love Bill Burr, but like, I don't remember his fucking name.
Ray.
Ray.
Mustache
um,
McGee.
I feel as if like his wife is so relatable though, and I'm like, I believe you.
Drunk on a Tuesday?
Yeah, and he's like, can I smoke in here? And she's like, we'll roll down the windows. I'm like, what, my bitch?
100%. She has a T-shirt in her closet that's a wine glass that says "Mommy Juice."
I'm so glad she does. I'm glad she does because she is single-handedly raising those children.
Live,
So
laugh,
she
love.
deserves it. She
Oh, yeah,
deserves to
totally.
live, laugh, and love.
She also like just handed her child back to the kid who like gave him a tattoo at 9 years old.
She doesn't know. Harold wasn't a snitch. Harold was like, I've never met this man
Harold-
before.
Harold was
Actually,
fucking down.
Harold was a snitch because
But he
how
learned
did
his
Bill
lesson.
Burr find the house?
He learned his lesson on not
about
snitching.
being a snitch.
Yeah, which is like, you don't fucking be a snitch.
What the fuck up was with that teacher?
Yeah, she was just
Right,
like, "Are you
right.
a molester?" No,
She,
okay,
She does
help
the
us.
right thing. She sees a stranger with a child in her classroom. She's like, "Just tell me the truth. Like, is this like? Do you know this person?
You
Did
can
he hurt
tell
you?"
me.
Okay, fix the paintbrushes. What?
Is that standard? Is it just because she knew that he would? Like,
Also, you can't just walk into a school. Like that's not
Yeah,
a
I
thing that you
know.
can do.
To be fair, they
As an
addressed
adult.
that though. She was like, "Did you go to the front office?" And he was like, "There's a front office." I don't.
The authorities would have been called. Like you can't just walk into a school as an adult.
But
Especially somebody
before
that
you
looks
get
like
kicked
Pete
out here,
Davidson.
could you please Watch the paintbrushes.
The front office goes, that dude that tries to sell weed to like 8-year-olds is back. Like, we need the cops right now.
Watch the paintbrushes. No, thank you. That's what
No, thank you. While he's doing it, I was like, that's relatable.
No,
Nope,
I would rather not, please.
Why am I doing it?
There's zero closure with Maud.
Yeah.
That entire storyline just stops.
Which is disappointing because I feel like she's like one of the grounding forces for him.
Yeah, like we're presented at the very beginning of the film that she's very worried the second that she leaves, he's going to just begin spiraling, which he does. Yeah. So it means their whole relationship is very important to him. And the last we see her is her very worried he's going to kill himself because he goes, I have a plan, hangs up, we never see him again. He ruined a Halloween party.
Damn, I forgot that's the last time you said, yeah.
Yeah, her last line is, you ruined my Halloween
party. I'm telling you, there's a sequel in place here, guys. You know,
there might be.
It's gonna be like how Forgetting Sarah Marshall was the spiritual successor to Knocked Up or whatever it was.
And then Getting to the Greek came from Forgetting Sarah Marshall as well.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, Getting to the Greek was the spiritual successor.
Still out of snow.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was. I fucking love that movie.
I've never seen Get Him to the Greek or whatever.
Stroke the Furry Wall.
Because doesn't that have Russell Brand in it?
It does.
I fucking hate Russell Brand.
Okay.
But
did not see that one coming.
Yeah, how did we get here?
How did we feel about Joe Rogan, Caitlin?
I hate Joe Rogan, predictably. Like, why did you think I like Joe Rogan?
I knew you would hate him. That's what I'm fucking doing.
Okay.
He gave you a minor league Yankees level pitch there. It was so soft.
For me to see him, for me to get redemption.
Yep, swing and a miss.
Cool.
Igor being catfish was a dumbass storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's just like in jail.
Real, like I said, that the whole thing was for them to pay it off in jail. Okay.
I didn't care or find it funny.
We've gone too long on this podcast without mentioning that that's Rico from Hannah Montana.
I know.
That fucked me up.
I know.
I was not ready. I was like, you look so old.
Old and greasy. You look like DJ Qualls.
I thought the whole take care of my cat Sprinkles was like code for continued dealing for me so I could pay my bail and not be here for 3 to 5 months. Also, he never ends up taking care of Sprinkles, so that was a weird additional line.
Yeah, Sprinkles is dead.
Sprinkles is 100% dead.
And the last thing I have is, dude was shot in the shoulder. Next time we see him, he's not wearing a sling or anything. He's fine in jail.
Yeah.
He's got that Wolverine blood.
It was just a flesh wound.
Through and through.
Yeah. I think like my 2 favorite lines were when Moises Arias is basically like, where Pete Davidson is, you love my tattoos, and Moises Arias is like, no, I don't, not as much as I said I did. Because I was like, me too. And then also, can we talk about my vape exploded in my pocket? Like the whole thing where he's like, I didn't get stabbed, my vape exploded in my pocket.
We had a misunderstanding. We're good now. No need to call the cops. What happened?
Fell in a thorn bush.
Fell in a thorn bush.
1 second before we move on. Can we talk about Marge being an absolute savage and locking Pete Davidson out of her house? I was like, yo, let's go, Marge.
Like I said, she was fed up the entire time with his antics, and then got back and was just like, all right, bye. Like, I fucking love Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei is a queen.
56 years old. Jesus.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite lines that I did write down was Moises Arias goes like, I regret my friendship with all of you.
Yeah.
I regret ever being there. Because he's like actually like a kind soul. Like he's hugging Pete Davidson when they're talking about his dead dad and everything. He's just like, I regret everything. All right. So any more notes? Joey, anything else on this movie?
No, you guys nailed it with the notes, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
Actually, I did have one other. Why the fuck with the Parent Trap? Let's break up the parents storyline.
What?
Well, I mean, that just I felt like that showed his immaturity, but it was weird that when she comes out and she's just like, fuck you, Pete, and fuck you, Bill. Like they're both like fuck you to both of them. So I didn't know why she was just like not letting Bill Burr explain, but also I don't know.
Because there's
Because
no
he threw her son in a
Oh.
pool.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Actually, but I that was one note I forgot to write down because I was kind of yelling at you guys last night. We don't get the scene where Pete Davidson tells his mom everything he learned about Bill Burr. We leave the ex-wife's house, immediately into the pool fight scene. I feel like that's an important conversation to show on screen. Like, hey, guess what I found out about the guy you're fucking?
It's
He's
the
a
one
gambling
thing that
addict.
Apatow. It's the
We
one
also-
thing that Apatow didn't cut out of this movie.
We also didn't talk about the lead on Pete Davidson fucking Bill Burr's ex-wife. Why did that not happen? Why did they not fuck? I literally was
I
so
thought that was
certain.
happening for sure. Yeah.
My revenge plan is to sleep with the ex-wife.
Which would have been hilarious and I would have been on board for. That's
It would've
such
paid
a
off.
that was such a missed opportunity. I don't know. Sad.
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 All right.
I'm the president.
So we want to do top 4 for Twitter. We don't do top 5 around here. Top 4 for Twitter. Apatow Projects Draft. So it can be anything he wrote, directed,
Come on.
or Caitlin's ready. Wrote,
Don't.
directed, or produced. So has a lot of production credits, not a lot of directing credits. That's why I wanted to do this. But he's written more things than you actually think so as well. So the draft order goes like this: Jake, Caitlin, Royden, Joey, Dex. And Joey, a little backstory here. Jake has always taken Caitlin's first round pick in the entirety that we've always done this. Perfect. No matter what it is.
Because we have the same energy. I'm just like 10 years younger.
I will say
Like-
that I'm trying to build a dream team right now. I got like a McCaffrey, Mahomes, Nuck situation going on that I'm going to lose all of them.
I just need my first round, and I think you've told me you're not going to take it, but
I
just
don't
need
think
it.
so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. So again, Jake, Caitlin,
Yeah, cool. Let's do it.
Jake, Caitlin, Royden, Joey, Dex. We're doing a snake draft. All right. Go ahead, Jake.
All right. First rounder. This movie has meant so much to me for so long. I've loved every second of it. It is a movie I quote daily. It is Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I
Damn
knew
it.
that. Yay! It's what I thought it was.
Wow. Number 1 overall.
I know. It's
I knew it.
probably a second rounder, but that is a movie that has meant so much to me for so many years. I watched it almost like every day in college. I think I own it 3 different times on DVD. Like it is a movie I have loved.
Okay.
The inside of you song is still a classic.
It's went from 6 to midnight.
No, it's it's great for sure, but it's like you're drafting for want, not need. You know, you're not going best player available.
Joey with the draft critique.
Just savagery.
Interesting to. Okay. Yeah, right, I like it.
Look, you
David
took
Johnson.
Trubisky when Mahomes and Watson were on.
Actually, last year I fucking did that. I took Trubisky instead of Lamar.
No.
Oh God!
Damn it, dude. Fucking
I
terrible.
believe in the Bears way more than I should ever believe in the Bears.
Yeah.
You're Bill Burr.
All right, Caitlin. If you,
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we're agreeing TV shows are fine, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
If he's
Okay.
produced it or written it.
Freaks and Geeks,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Yeah.
That was my second rounder.
That was the easiest one for me. Freaks and Geeks was like my favorite show when I was like 12. And like, because it got on Netflix, I think that year. Like, it was on DVD and you could get it off Netflix. And I watched it like that season, like over and over and over again. That's it. Like, I don't feel like I have to explain to people why Freaks and Geeks is good.
No, it's great, and I feel like it set up a lot of people's careers. But
Yeah.
again, we're drafting
Yes.
for want, not need. Like Joey was saying.
Hey,
This
I'm
is a
Spike's
want.
Adams team right now. This is going well for me.
He's draft.
This was a need. I feel as if Freaks and Geeks. I knew
It
that
would have come
this
off.
this would have been a need for me because I knew he was going to take it next. Like, so I wouldn't have gotten it.
No, we go back
you
in the
just played
snake
the
draft.
draft to block me.
Literally, I'm just doing this to block Jake from taking my first round pick yet a fucking again. And I was right.
All right,
Fuck you,
so
Jake.
I in no way thought I would get this. It's between two right now, but I gotta go super bad.
Okay.
Yep. Damn it.
Righto.
Yeah. So
was-
it is the defining comedy of an entire decade, which is crazy to say because it came out in like 2007, but it made the careers of so many people, including Seth Rogen, who wrote it. But like, it is the funniest and one of the best comedies I think of all time. And if you don't think so, I'll fight you. I'll come to meet me in Temecula. Like that's what. Yeah. So I can't believe I got that in the first round of the third.
I've never seen Superbad.
What
so,
the
like,
fuck?
Yeah.
Dog,
I-
I sucked at it in high school.
Is that the one with
Yes.
McLovin in it? Is that it? So I
this is
intentionally never watched it
gross.
because my dad quotes the McLovin line like all the fucking time, and it
Shout
was
out
just
Paul. Come on the podcast.
Yeah. Paul, take my place. But yeah, I don't know. That was an act of rebellion, and I'm sticking with it.
Caitlin's ain't never played anybody, Paul. She's picking figs and greens in the first round, Paul. All right, Joey, go ahead. I'm glad Caitlin does not know what I'm talking about. I'm glad Dex knows what I'm talking about.
I got you.
I get the Fine Bomb reference. Trust me. I do.
Yeah.
This is you. So I'm similar situation to Caitlin here. You took what was going to be somehow my first round pick here with Superbad, but I'm going 40-year-old virgin. I feel like it's
that
just
seems right.
just on the same level as Superbad. I mean, what a cast, what an idea for a film. I mean, right away, 40-year-old virgin, you're hooked. How did somebody not think of this already? Just absolutely hysterical with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen being in there too. And obviously Steve Carell is hilarious. Yeah, give me 40-year-old virgin all day.
One of the most like quoted things on sports talk radio or everything is 40-year-old virgin and Anchorman. Like you were saying, like it is.
Hate Anchorman.
Anchorman's great, and you know it. We're not gonna have this debate.
I like Christina Applegate.
But yeah, it is one of the most overquoted movies, and the Kelly Clarkson is a classic.
Yeah.
It also started Mindy Kaling's career, so that's always fun. We
Oh,
would
that's
have
true.
had Mindy Kaling without 40-year-old virgin. So
My favorite story from that is the reason the Kelly Clarkson line is on there is because originally it was just going to be nonstop him cussing as they were ripping off the chest hair. But then one of the executive producers was like, hey, if this makes it on the TV or something, this whole scene will get cut out. So we had to refilm it with something that would be TV appropriate. And so they started just writing down what they think would be TV appropriate lines. And some person jokingly wrote down Kelly Clarkson. And
I think it was Seth Rogen.
yeah, Steve Carell read it and they thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Kelly Clarkson.
And they were right.
Give me 40-year-old virgin. There
God
you
fucking
go.
damn it, Seth Rogen.
Solid
That was a
pick.
great book.
All right, Dex. Last pick of the first round.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a pick that I know I won't be able to get if I wait on it. So I'm just gonna take it now. I'm gonna go Step Brothers. It's
Oh,
Damn it.
classic
No one
comedy.
is taking the ones I feel like they should.
You're
I don't know
gonna
what
pick
that
like
means.
girls and all these niche comedies.
Why do you think I'm
feel
gonna
like
take
Caitlin and I are
girls?
about
Because you
to
said
fight.
that you liked it.
I do like girls.
Terrible show.
Fuck you.
I'm actually in the process of me and my wife just started Girls today. We're
It's
3 episodes in. I'm a huge Adam Driver fan. So
same.
yeah.
No, I discovered him through that, but it gets harder. I tried to rewatch it. I also really like Allison Williams. I think she's pretty underrated. But it's also like, I feel like it's hard knowing what we know now about Lena Dunham, I think, sometimes to watch that show retrospectively. She likes,
I can look it up.
yeah, it's.
Anyway, Step Brothers. Teabagged your drum set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another very, very sports talk radio quotable thing. Step Brothers.
I've also
Absolutely.
never seen stuff.
Catalina Wine Mixer.
The fuck goddamn.
I want to get ass.
The Adam Scott is the funniest character I think in like all of hadn't had a carb in 5 years. Dane Cook on HBO. Let's go.
Oh,
I forgot about Dane Cook.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a great pick, Dex, because that was though one of those movies that was ruined for me because like that it was like early memes and
They're all stepbrothers.
yeah, and people coming into like 8th grade being like, I cheap-bagged your drum set.
oh yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
Oh.
Karate in the garage. All right, Joey, back up to you.
Nah, it's me, fam.
No,
Oh, wait.
Dex.
Fuck.
Get out of here.
It's
Shit.
a second pick.
You get
That's
lost in
what's
the
wrong.
snake in the first round?
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous.
This one I don't know if anybody is gonna pick, but I just really fucking like this movie, so I'm gonna take it. The Big Sick. It's hilarious.
Obviously,
and
someone
cute.
was gonna take it. That should have been first round.
God damn it. God damn it.
Fucking.
Yup.
Oh, what's
I don't
her
know. I
name?
saw it in theaters, and I was just like, "This is fucking amazing!" Like,
This is a really good movie.
I haven't been able to watch it since because like I just haven't gotten around to it. But like, I will never forget just sitting in the theater, just being like, I did not expect to be this fucking moved, and also laugh this much.
Kumail Nanjiani is like so good and like
So
underrated. Yeah, he's fucking really hot. Like he got super shredded recently, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That's not
But,
fair.
like-
You can't be that funny and that good looking.
I know it sucks.
How
Well,
dare you?
it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, dude, I thought Big Sick was gonna go much faster.
Yeah.
That's like what I consider probably the best Apatow film.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
definitely his best of his most recent films for sure.
Yeah. Well, and Nanjiani, like the fact that's also based off of a true story, like that's literally him and his wife's love story. I think it's just super cool. Yeah, it's literally she was in a coma, and like they weren't together, and like a bunch of other
Him getting her thumbprint when she's in a coma is the fucking funniest thing. You're like, sorry. And shout out Ray Romano, another
Yes.
Romano comeback. All
so
right,
good in that. Shockingly
Big Sick. That's a great pick, Dex. All right, go ahead, Joey.
brilliant.
Man,
Oh, man.
I feel I getting great value here coming in the second round, starting with this one. Give me Pineapple Express.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think in my IMO, in my opinion, I could have if one of you would take a Pineapple Express number one, I'd be like, sure, absolutely. So me getting it right here, I'm feeling great about it. I mean, I think it came out. What was it? 2008.
8.
2008.
Why did you just have that?
I've been looking at his movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had it right here. And it was I was a freshman in high school and I saw it. And even at the time, it was like, I understood most of it, didn't understand all of it, but I grew with the movie as, the more I saw it, the older that I got. So it's James Franco playing a stoner. Who would have called that one, huh? But, killed it.
I thought hurricane season was over. Danny
weird
McBride.
relationship between the drug dealer. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Danny McBride's character in that was like my first introduction to Danny McBride.
Yep.
Fucking the one thing that I quote from that movie the entire time when they go in there and they're like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I'm just in here trying to get a motherfucking scholarship."
Yep.
So,
Craig
Tell me.
Robinson too.
yeah, Craig
Yeah.
Robinson.
I mean,
I seen
what's the warm Ted?
Great. Man, good pick. I'm surprised that I'm able to get this right now. I think people have not come around on not liking this movie, but Knocked Up.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
God bless.
That's it's.
You can have it.
Nah, it gets very dark though. Like, maybe it's just the realness of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's Seth Rogen's best of those comedies. I think it's one of, I don't know. I really enjoy that and go back and watching it and having all of them together living in one house and the back and forth between them and the rebuttal. He's like, what is it? You look like late stage John Lennon. And he's just like, How'd you get pink eye? The pink eye joke is really funny. I don't know. I fucking love that movie.
I just think it's another one of those movies, and I like it. Like, I think the chemistry between Rogan and Katherine Heigl is actually like really fucking good, and it's one of the best movies she's in, like
for
hands
sure.
down. But it's like, I feel like it's another one of those movies, like not Breaking Bad, but like as a TV series, where it's like a woman doing normal shit and also having normal reactions to things gets like weirdly demonized for no fucking
It's very
reason.
much of the time. It's very much of the time.
And I'm always just like, I don't know. This feels like you just fucking hate women.
Very much of the time, and I am still very traumatized by the birthing scene in that movie.
Yeah.
Just Jay Baruchel walking in there and being like, "Don't go in there. Don't go in there." All right. So, Caitlin.
Yes. Mine's Trainwreck. That's my pick. For many reasons. Namely, Bill Hader is a fucking god. And like, I love anything that he's in. But also, I think if there's a performance that made Amy Schumer likable, I think it's Trainwreck. And she is an easily unlikable comedian. And for many problematic reasons. But like, I don't know. I also found that movie super deeply relatable. Like, it's one of the Apatow like heartfelt movies that's about growth. And I don't know, I really related to it in a lot of ways. It came out when I was like 19 and like going through a really, I think, crazy phase in my life. So like, I think a lot of people relate to it. Like the commitment phobia, the not wanting what's best for you.
Shout out LeBron James trying his best.
So good in it. I think he's great in it.
That is a great just use of comedy to have Bill Hader be best friends with LeBron James for no reason. And for them to play basketball against each other, and LeBron is actually trying and shutting him down. Like, that is just great writing.
Well, and it's just like Bill Hader's just like perfect. Like, I don't know. And it's the best movie I think he's been in, because like I think he tried to do a lot of like art house films after that.
Skeleton Twins is good.
I liked it. It's fine. I like the scene where they're lip syncing. That's a good scene.
Yeah. Barry is great.
Barry's great. No, he gets. I mean, like that's after he did a huge phase of movies that I think were not as good.
All right, Jake. That's a good pick. I did like end up liking Trainwreck, and I didn't think that I would.
I really like it. I saw it with my mom. My mom liked it. She loved John Cena after that movie.
Everyone should love John Cena. John Cena.
John Cena.
All right, Jake.
So, in no particular order, because I get the back-to-back. For number 2, I'm taking Bridesmaids.
Fuck
Damn
you.
it!
Fuck you.
Oh,
that's my next pick.
That feels all suddenly really good. Yeah.
I hate you.
That is a movie that whenever it is on, does not matter what the scene is, doesn't matter if it's like the last 5 minutes, I will stop and watch it.
Same.
It never stops being funny. It never. I know the jokes that are coming. I can tell you the jokes that are coming, and I still laugh. It's so good.
It's just perfect. Like Rose Byrne, Maya Rudolph, like what's his fucking name? Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd. Who
I became like obsessed with after that movie and started watching IT Crowd because of it. Like
their relationship is really good. Like they have great chemistry between Wig and O'Dowd.
It's so perfect. And the stupid like office their meet cute so good. Fuck. I hate you.
The role that I wanted to call him Don Draper, the role that he was born to play.
Oh, Johnny Hamm.
John Hamm, just a stupid asshole. It's a great. Like
now my number 3.
He's incredible in that, and like Kimmy Schmidt and everything. Like,
oh, he's so good in Kimmy Schmidt.
As far as comedy goes. And I know the one take pod, y'all's podcast says this a lot, but like I think Ken Jack and stuff has said before when I've been listening is that he is way better at comedy than he is in anything drama, and that's where it started. It's actually incredible.
Yeah. Man, what a fucking steal there with Bridesmaids for you, though. That's great.
All right. Real quick, your third pick.
Me?
Anchorman.
Oh no, him.
Anchorman. Shit.
Anchorman. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even care what I get in the fourth. I'm so glad I got all of that. Yeah, Anchorman. I don't remember when I saw it. I saw it in theaters, so whenever that came out. But that is a movie that has stuck with 2004. Damn. That is a movie that has stuck with me since I was 14 years old.
That is the hardest I think I've ever laughed at a movie. That and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Just because I'm just too young to like. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. All right.
That is a movie that my marriage is that is the foundation of my marriage, because Mallory and I used to Facebook each other Anchorman quotes as a way of flirting.
That's amazing.
When I was like 20, I think one of my first dates was like watching Anchorman, and I think that's part of the reason I really fucking don't like that movie. But like because he just kept trying to make me like Anchorman, and I feel like there's a culture around Anchorman that I resent slightly, but it is good. And Christina Applegate's very good.
What's the culture?
Just like
Not that I like the movie or anything, but
just like it's the quoting thing, I think, just like mostly like that it's like you have to like this movie that is just like objectively really good, and that like I get annoyed anytime someone tells me I have to like something, and I immediately am like, now I don't like it. And I feel like
you're a contrarian. That's what you're saying.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that what I've said this entire fucking podcast? Is like I don't like things
for the last 2 months.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I've been consistent.
Let's see. So it is Caitlin.
Yeah. So my third pick is a bad pick, and I know it's a bad pick, but I really like this movie, which is Heavyweights.
The Disney Channel original?
It's like one of his first films, right?
Yeah. And it's partially because my grandma's weirdly good friends with the Stillers. So like literally like not Ben Stiller, like his parents who recently passed away.
R.I.P.
Yeah, because they're all from Oyster Bay, New York, like, and they all golf together. But like, my grandma would literally put it on when I was a kid and just like name drop and be like, I fucking know them, and like that. So I have like a lot of really good memories around Heavyweights. Also, I was a morbidly obese kid when I was a child, and this movie provided a lot of catharsis, I guess, because I definitely did go to a fat camp, and I liked the fact that they made the fat camp people pay. That's
okay.
Alrighty then.
Not bitter in any way.
Everyone knows I'm bitter in my family. I got sent to a YMCA fat camp, and I think
God.
about it a lot.
I'm so sorry.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
You're just so. Why are you so fat?
All right, my third pick, real quick. Kind of digging down in the barrel here, but I do remember loving this movie so much. It's problematic now, and a lot of gay panic in it, but it's very funny. Talladega Nights.
God damn it.
Damn it.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. It is.
That's another one that's like an 8th grade culture movie.
Yeah. So fucking funny when you were a kid, but like I'd probably go the little kids in that, and like I'm all
hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that and them going. His dad is the funniest character in that. He's like, I found a whole rat in my Cobb salad. Applebee's has rats. It's the funniest fucking thing. Is I'm gonna go. How about y'all dig a hole, and I'm gonna go grab another beer. Somebody didn't love you as a child. Probably right. That's a nickel.
God, so many quotes on these fucking. We're movie quote guys. That's what
this is what we turned into.
And you ask me what culture, and I'm like, this is the culture I don't like. I don't like any of you.
People who know movie quotes.
Sounds about white. Sounds about white. Let's see. Joey, go ahead.
This is me. Oh, I'm excited about this one. I'm probably gonna get split for it, I think. But talk about a weird comedy that was like a part of my childhood that I just fucking loved. Give me Kicking and Screaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
the soccer child. So many like underlying funny things from that movie that I just remember finding hysterical, and I still do, but especially as a kid. The whole dynamic between him and James Con. Yeah. Is that no? It's Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall is his dad, who's like, just fucking hard ass, successful type A dude, and Will Ferrell's selling the vitamins. And he's kind of like, a little softer around the edges and everything. The Ditka part, I love it. Give me kicking and screaming. Pick number 3.
Calling Mike Ditka Juice Box Boy is objectively one of the funniest things ever put on film.
When he makes the dude run the lap and he's timing him, the dad, because he didn't pick up his juice box trash or whatever. It's good.
Tuck in your shirt.
No, they're tucking his shirt. That's what
Have some pride. All right, Dex.
Tuck in your shirt.
This is really hard now because I'm realizing I haven't seen a lot of Judd Apatow movies in a very long time. A lot of great stuff is gone. Let's go with shit.
I'm just waiting for you to take Girls just because.
I've never seen Girls. Let's go with another movie I've never seen, but I know we'll go later. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you just took it to take it?
Yeah, I did.
I don't see it.
What's the value?
Straight Rob Royden.
You just took it to make Royden's day back.
Fucking dickhead.
Royden did all the scouting for me.
At least when Jake takes stuff from me, I know he means it and wants it. You just took that to be a dick.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, but think about what Royden's about to give away to trade in.
Yeah, Royden, come off some draft capital in the future. Let's go.
I will trade you knocked up and a future first for that.
Wow.
Pass.
I don't fucking want it.
All right, Joey, go ahead.
It's still me.
Damn it!
He's got number 4.
It's like we've never done this
Lost
before.
in your own snake.
I'm going to go with a movie none of us have ever talked about before. I don't think any of us have actually seen it. I'm going to go with The King of Staten Island.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are we allowed to take what the movie
I took
was?
Titanic last week.
Why is this your theme?
All right.
I don't like
Now
this
it's
show.
Joey.
Now it's me. It's number 4. I'm scrolling IMDb. Fuck.
Please do not take what I'm about to say.
I don't think.
I like
Damn.
this dread.
This is gonna. I think this might be a little curveball, but I'm gonna go with not a feature film.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Jerry Before Seinfeld.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
Oh.
the executive produced it. I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and I thought it was a cool. Little special. It was like it was like a comedy special that had the weave in of Jerry's story, hence the title. And I'll take that number 4. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
One of
Is it
the
loud?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I mean, if you took Freaks and Geeks, I think you can take this.
Yeah, you can take some.
Yeah.
The Seinfeld special.
Number 4. Yeah.
That was actually one of the better Netflix specials that have been put out recently. And I'm not like, I don't know. I did like that, and I'm not a huge Seinfeld guy, but that was incredible.
Big Seinfeld guy over here. So
This feels like when the Spurs take a foreign player and you're just like, oh shit, he must be great.
He must be great.
something that we don't know. Yeah. Thanks, Dex. That's an honor.
Patty Mills. Let's see here.
I don't know sports.
Sports.
She does comedy.
Does
There,
it?
we got it in, guys.
We got it in. I do comedy.
All right.
I do improv.
I do improv.
My final pick is a movie that did not get enough love when it came out, and it will set the bar for comedies to come, and I mean this forever. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
No.
I fucking love that movie.
You're trash.
What?
You're just fucking trash. That's so bad.
God.
Jesus.
That's my. I'm sorry.
You picked a one-season show with your first-round pick.
Yes, that everyone agrees should have been more than one season. It's a cult fucking classic.
God.
I don't like you.
him.
I don't like you and where you come from. This is absolutely a great film.
Explain why.
Great club. I mean, Sandberg. I mean, that's
Just because it's Sandberg doesn't mean it's good.
Yes,
but like the Lonely Island Boys, you know, you got that whole thing. I mean, it's funny. It's a fourth-round pick. I don't fucking know.
Thank you.
It's a flyer.
Someone
You're happy with any value you can get at this point.
Someone has to be divisive on this, and that is my goal.
You don't have to.
He's got to
Yes, I do.
Father, so
not-
he can get
First round.
whatever Dex took.
You don't have to not like things to not like. Come on, man.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Your pick. Which one you going with, genius?
Girls. Literally, that's all that's left. But also, like,
that is not all that's left.
that I want to pick. But I don't know. Girls mattered a lot to me when it first came out. Like, I think it's a really like in my friend group, it was a super formative show. Like, it sucks that everything with Lena Dunham, but like, I don't know. It was super formative. I thought that's what dating would be like. I watched it when I was 17, and I had like a poster of the girls cast like in my room, like for real. I was totally obsessed with it. And I don't know. It also basically defined my dating choices because every guy I've ever been out with is like an ugly version of Adam Driver. Like, not a good looking version.
And also Pete Davidson.
I was gonna say.
And so, which they look similar. They're just like lanky, tall boys.
Do they look
With dark
similar?
hair. With dark hair.
Pete Davidson's the like loser older brother to Adam Driver who became successful and who
Yes.
you know what
But
I
they
mean?
look kind of related. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not totally out of left field here. I don't know. It's a good show. I forget Zasia Mamet's really good in it. I don't think she did it.
I'll probably watch another episode before I go to bed. I like it. So.
What y'all are in the first season, right?
Oh yeah, yep. Just started it.
Nice. It's good.
You would pick that.
Yeah. I've said I like that show. Royden, we're okay, right? Are we gonna be okay?
I don't think you guys are.
Are we gonna be
There's
okay?
no recovery.
No.
Royden, I'm so sorry.
No.
No,
You didn't
she's
like
not.
my
Royden,
pick.
Royden, I'm sorry.
She's not.
You're not.
I'm not that
Podcast
sorry, but I'm
Podcast
sorry.
I don't care. Moving on. I'm not feeling.
Hashtag cancel Royden.
My fit. Jesus.
Jake,
All right.
take us home.
Jake, take us home. Final pick. We'll get off.
You know what? I'm okay with taking this flyer. I'm taking Begin Again.
Oh, I love Begin Again.
Mark Ruffalo, Keira Knightley,
That's a good movie.
James Corden shows up for some reason.
Yeah, as per usual, just there.
And then Adam Levine basically admits his entire Maroon 5 career where he sells out.
I forgot about that movie, like, completely, actually.
I've never seen it. So, fourth round pick.
Fourth round
It's
pick.
good. I like it.
It was either
Keira
that or the 5-year engagement.
I want
That's
to
okay.
because I love Siegel. I love him so much.
How did he not do I Love You, Man?
Yeah,
That's
actually,
a very
I
much a
agree
Judd Apatow film. I
That
don't
really
know how he had zero involvement in that.
with that. Weird.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, picks left on the board. This is 40. Wanderlust, Anchorman 2. Get him to the Greek, which I actually do like.
Damn, no.
Breaks down, changes mind.
I can't believe that's all right.
Undrafted free agent.
Yeah. Damn.
Undrafted free agent. All right. He also did a lot of producing on the Larry Sanders Show, which is actually really good, and the Cable Guy. So
I forgot he did the Cable Guy.
yeah. All right. So that is our show. Joey, thank you very much. Tell them where they can find what you're selling.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. A lot of fun talking movies and getting away from sports and all that kind of shit. So just follow me at Joey Mulinaro on all the socials. Last name Mulinaro, and we'll have some fun. So I appreciate it.
Not Mulinaro. I apologize.
It's all right either
No,
way. I'll just give you some shit, but
Yeah.
that's I grew up
All
with the Mulinaro. It's all good. But guys, a lot of fun talking movies with you, and I'm sure hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up. Thank you for letting us bullying you into coming onto the podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, what a weird story how this all happened.
Yeah, but we didn't explain that at all.
Oh yeah, real quick. Dex shamed you or something into
Yeah,
coming.
he like made me out to be a racist or some shit.
Which
My bad, man. My bad. You cool. You cool. You good people.
Yeah.
good people.
Joey's an ally. All right, so you can find us at the One Take Pod. This is number One Take Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Just depends on what platform that you like. You can find us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Please go on, rate a 5-star review, and Joey will come back on. I don't know if that's true, but like,
Yeah.
but then,
You guys Star Wars people at all? I can talk for 6 days about Star Wars.
yeah,
Let's do it.
sure, fine.
I like Star Wars.
I
Okay.
hated the last one, but that's neither here nor there. The you can find us at the One Take Pod, One Take Podcast Show at gmail.com, One Take Podcast Show at gmail.com, and One Take Podcast.simplecast.com. Download, rate, subscribe. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. Hashtag don't do crime. Hashtag I do comedy. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Hashtag can't
Another
afford
hat.
it.
We have
No.
so many hashtags now.
Good God
Can
almighty.
We need to reduce.
Yeah.
We can
We
get
take-
rid of hashtag I do crime because, like, if you look at I do crime
I
on
do
Twitter,
crime.
don't do
Or-
crime.
Don't do crime.
I was like, let's get rid of I do comedy. Let's stop.
All right. Don't do crime. All right. And support Florence Pugh. And we're out.